Well, good day. It's Captain Frank again. I want to spend a few minutes and talk to you about a subject that most people are aware about, but maybe in your lifetime you've never had a situation where it's come to be a concern. I want to talk about carbon monoxide. Now, there's a lot of misunderstanding about carbon monoxide. A lot of folks would feel it's only with a gas-powered boat. That's not necessarily true. With a diesel boat, although it's like half, 50% in a gas boat, it is still available and can get in your boat. But it isn't just your boat you need to be concerned about. It's other people's boats as well. Carbon monoxide can travel with a breeze from somebody else's engine or generator. So let's take a few minutes and talk about this subject, how it gets in your boat, how you can check and prevent it. Okay, let's take a look at a typical bilge area. This is the most common place for carbon monoxide to come from. It's created by the engines. It's a natural byproduct of combustion. If you have any exhaust leaks or any place in this area, it has a potential for getting up in the cabin. Now, at Regal, one of the things that we do is we test our engine compartments. We have a component called a smoke generator, which we actually put in the engine compartment. But one of the key tricks about finding out if you have an exhaust leak is to look to see if you have a water leak. Because the water leaves through the exhaust system, any leaks that you see from that should indicate an exhaust leak as well. Don't forget about the generator if you have one of those. You want to check the muffler connections and the through hull as well where it connects. Some of you are old enough to remember a Chevy station wagon. There is a thing that happens on a cruiser when running, especially if you have a stern breeze, called the station wagon effect. As that carbon monoxide is created and it works its way up from the engines, it can also be blown into this cockpit. So while you're sitting here, it kind of rolls in this backside. So you need to be aware of that. Having your front isinglass open where you can have a breeze through here while you're moving certainly would help. But the other thing to keep in mind is while you're sitting back here, especially on that stern, is if you have that stern breeze, you want to be turning those engines off, especially when you're at rest. Of course, the ultimate way to open this cockpit and get some air in is if you're lucky enough to have one of these sport coupes. This whole hardtop opens up, you get plenty of ventilation through here. One of the secret ways that carbon monoxide can enter the boat that you might not think about is through your sink drain. At the end of the day, when the boat starts to cool off, it can create a low pressure area inside the boat, literally pull carbon monoxide in. Now at Regal, we combat that two ways. A lot of our sinks run into a shower sump pump, which creates a barrier from that happening. The other thing we do is we put a slight trap like you'd have in the sink of your house, so water lays in the base of that and won't allow it to come in. But if you've got an older boat and you're not sure of how that system works, there's a very simple way at night that you can eliminate this. Just take the drain plug, put it in the sink. That'll eliminate it coming in through there. This little guy right here is a carbon monoxide detector. You should have one of those in every cabin of your boat. Now, it's been required for quite a few years, but if you got an older boat, you may not have one, and you're probably going to want to put some in there. It's similar to a smoke detector in regards to it has a test button so you can make sure that it's working. Most boats have a circuit breaker to turn it on, so you got to have that breaker on. The last thing I need you to remember about these guys is they have a shelf life. Most of them in 3 to 5 years, depending on the model, need to be replaced. Here's this CO detector breaker right here. You'll notice the protective cover that keeps you from accidentally turning it off. You know, one thing I forgot to mention about the CO detector is these things can go off inadvertently if you get low voltage. They have a protective circuit in it. If they get down around 10.5 volts, they'll actually start sounding off to let you know that it's losing the power that's going to feed it. Another secret spot to get CO in your boat can be from the anchor locker. It can sneak in through the vent holes or the drain holes on the anchor locker. Now, if the bulkhead between the anchor locker and the forward cabin is not sealed, you'll end up with it coming into that forward cabin, which certainly would be undesirable. What you see here are those 2 drain holes that I mentioned for that anchor locker. It's amazing what can sniff up these things based on their location. But in regards to carbon monoxide, there's something that's happening as we speak in the current production models that are coming out, certainly in North America. The engines are now going to be equipped with a catalytic converter. The catalysts are located in the exhaust manifolds. What they do is they're going to take hydrocarbons, which is unburnt fuel, and carbon dioxide and mix it with oxygen, and they're going to turn it into carbon dioxide. which is good. The plants are going to turn that back into something we can use. These gasoline-powered engines now produce 66% less carbon monoxide than their earlier relatives. Here at Regal, we test for carbon monoxide from the station wagon effect, and we've seen these levels reduce so drastically, in some cases it's even hard to find it to measure. This is Captain Frank. Stay safe on the water.